Hey guys, John Wetmore here. Appreciate you guys getting on. I have a cool guest with me today, Marty Adams, right? It's Marty Adams. Did I make that up? Or am I
Schaefer,
right?
but it's Marty Schaefer, but you can call me Adams as long as they sell
What,
stuff. I don't care what they call me.
what's Adams versus Schaefer? Your email definitely says Adams, does it not?
It does not. It could be some subconscious thing. I don't know.
Evans. Am
That's
I
a
not?
different Marty. So there's
Damn,
two.
Schaefer. I see
Yeah,
Schaefer. Oh, there's two Martys there.
there are. He's the cool Marty, and I'm the old Marty.
No kidding. What makes him cooler?
Well, I mean, he's just a young, vibrant guy. He's everything I wish I was.
I
Right?
love it. I love it. I just know you as Marty, man, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize there were two of y'all. So, but it's all good. Well, I appreciate you getting on, dude. I think it's official title, Chief Distribution Officer at Ethos.
Correct. Yep.
Y'all are doing awesome stuff, and I've got to learn about 2 minutes worth of you before this, and I'm like, we should just hit record and go live because I like those better, and I don't care that I mess up, and I just like talking to people, man, and figuring it out. So,
Yeah, I think that free form stuff is the best. It's the best, right? I think when you're trying to be programmatic, I think that those are the things that have held the industry back, trying to just not be innovative and in kind of free flow.
Yeah. I always tell people I'm the worst too. I'm like, if I could have one talent that I was really good at it, like that I was amazing at, it would be remembering everyone's name. I'm awful with I forget people's names I know. And I'm like, it happened at football last night. I was talking to a buddy and I'm like, I was trying to reference another friend of ours, and I'm like, what's his name? I'm like, the real estate guy, dude. We talk every day.
Yeah, it's my kryptonite. I am, one of, and I will never make a call like this political, but Bill Clinton, that was his superpower. Like he could remember any person's name. And he actually, my wife met him twice at a speech that he did for a school. My wife's in education. And the second time he came, he remembered her name. And like, I don't know how people do that. It's like, I can't remember my kids' names, my 4 girls half the time.
Yeah, I definitely understand. I watched Sean Mike, who obviously you know, and he's amazing at it too.
Yeah, he's a savant in many ways, right? Yeah.
He is. Well, dude, I'm curious how you've been in the business a long time. Zach's told me a little bit about you, of course. We're both buddies with Twardowski, and I know you were with Hancock, I think immediately prior, but I know recently for sure.
Yep.
But I kind of want to know how you got in the business, dude, because we were chatting last night. I think you even text me. This is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Zach goes, Marty loves this business. He'll talk about whatever as long as you want. And I'm like, it's funny. He texted me that yesterday when we were trying to figure out our travel schedules, how to get together. We were supposed to do this in person, and we're like, we just can't
That's right.
out a schedule.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think this is the most powerful financial tool in the world. And I first started out, to your point about my career, 20 plus years career in the business. When I first was, I was a retired athlete trying to find my way, taught for a little bit, coached for a little bit. And then one summer, started selling insurance, actually P&C insurance. And I remember calling the guy that got me in the business, John, and I said, how much of this can I do? And he's like, as much as you could sell, kid. And that was it, and I remember telling my wife I was taking a straight commission job. We had 2 kids at the time, a house payment, and I was petrified. But the athlete in me, and I think entrepreneurs have a similar kind of juice. They were just like, that's the challenge I need. I needed that next kind of bone to chew on, so to speak. And so that's how I ended up getting into business. And so when I decided to go full time, back then, most people who got into financial services worked for companies. Like you became a monolined agent for this insurance company. And that's what I did.
What was that?
98, 97. My first license was in 96. I went full time in 98. And
got it.
And at the time, Prudential had 23,000 agents. I was one of many forms of distribution they had. And I wanted at the time, it was kind of sexy to be a financial planner. And so I thought I wanted to be all things to all people. And that's where I started in the business. And then I quickly realized through reading books and kind of just studying business much more effectively that, focusing in on being incredible at one thing was the secret to mass success. So I kind of isolated the life insurance business in 05 when I went over to Phoenix Life, and And, I'd gone into management and managed a pretty significant piece of the Phoenix State Farm partnership. And, I've just always believed that it's, we are our most valuable asset, right? And so that we don't insure our most valuable asset for the people that we love the most has always confounded me. And so I was at Phoenix for a long time, and then we did a startup inside Phoenix, a company called Cypress Partners, and we built a wholesaling organization. I did that from like 09 to 18, Hancock for a period of time. And what ended up bringing me to Ethos is you get, I'm 50 this year. So when you turn 50, I don't know if you're 50 yet, but when you turn 50, you start really like, it's a moment. It was a moment for me where I was like, I really need to give back to the business that's been so amazing to me. And so when I was approached with Ethos's opportunity, there are a couple keys that really drew me to it. Number one, I love the business. To Zach's point, I'm passionate about insuring Americans. Number two, I think it needs to be democratized. I started in the business at kitchen tables and dining rooms at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And you can only do so much of that, right? Like I could only meet so many people a week. And it was a long process. I mean, I filled my first, electronic app in 99, and it really hadn't gotten better in 20 plus years, John, right? So, when I saw what Ethos had built, and I saw how it could democratize insurance for every American, like people could just ingest this product that's so incredibly powerful. I was blown away, and I was also blown away by the people, because you need to surround yourself with talent, right? That draws out the best in you and improves you as a person and a professional.
Yeah. How do you, because I've had people ask, like, what is Ethos? Are they a carrier? Are they a company? Like, what are they? Explain
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely not a carrier. So when you think of our company, I kind of break it down into a couple silos. We're a technology company. So our company was founded to create a technology platform to instantly provide insurance for people. So how do we do that? We've built a proprietary underwriting engine. So we have a full stack underwriting team. And then we partner with amazing A-rated carriers to build proprietary products with them on that tech platform. And then we marry all of that up to a multi-million-dollar agent portal where agents can manage their entire book of business to sell instantly. So when you think of it, it's technology, it's underwriting prowess, it's the ability to have instant products on that technology platform with that underwriting process with those A-rated carriers. So that's really hard to pull together. And we don't just have one carrier. I think that's to me, that was the real, you have to create separation speed as a business. And to me, that was our separation speed, being able to insure 90+% of consumers that come into that versus like 40 or 45.
Yeah. Who thought of that? Who's the guy?
Yeah, so we have two founders, Peter Collis and Linky Wang. So these guys were Stanford roommates, and Linky had bought a policy, like a whole life policy as a young man. And it was this pretty expensive whole life policy that he was sold as a supplemental retirement product, which by the way is, perfectly fine, but it got those two kind of in their dorm room thinking through, like, how can we make this better? Like, how can we come into this business and be a disruptor and just basically democratize insurance? And what I love about the company's mission, back to my passion for the industry, is when I was interviewing, one of the first things they said is our goal is to insure the next 1 million+ Americans. And that's really hard to do because you can only do that through armies like FFL, which, I mean, the visionary capabilities of your organization have proven out, right? But you either have to have an army or build an army, or you have to create an acquisition mechanism, an Amazon-like experience, John, that makes it really easy for people to do. We know at our core that it's always sold. So it's an emotional sale, fear and love, right? But if you can get the perfect storm for me is what we're doing with FFL. You get this amazing partnership with this entity that has that army. You give this democratized acquisition process to that army, and it allows and it enables an agent to 10x their business. I've had dozens of agents tell me, like, hey, I sent I worked all week. I sent the link out, and then I made money while I was sleeping. And to me,
explain the process, dude, because I've seen it. I saw it. I'm like, that's it. That's
that's
all
it.
like, because I don't think a lot of people know how this whole thing works. Because it's funny, you said you wrote your first e-app. Did you say like 99?
Yeah. So Prudential used to have, I mean, it was like the first laptop. I remember getting the first laptop, right? And they had this, they had a cord that pulled out to this little signature pad. And so this was the first version of an electronic app. It was still a 40-page app that you were looking at and scrolling through on the laptop, but the client could sign, right? And so it's just like,
No
this is
kidding.
revolutionary.
So when they sold us, some of these carriers sold us like 4 or 5 years ago that it was like the first electronic app, you're like, dude, we've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah, it was. And by the way, it never really got better, right? So,
No, it did not.
it just,
No.
I mean, underwriting innovation has occurred, right? The leveraging
sure.
of data and,
Yeah.
but the consumer experience has always been difficult, right? And I think because of that, the agent experience has always been difficult, going back for missed forms, hey,
hated
waiting
that.
for APSs, like waiting, just the waiting in it, man. It was just,
Yeah.
I used to have to wait 16 weeks to get paid, right?
Yeah.
brutal.
No kidding.
Yeah,
funny when
yeah.
agents-
Look, you had to get underwritten.
Yeah, when agents, so I'll give you a comparison because we all have our uphill and the snow both ways kind of stories. So agents now get mad if they don't get paid in like 7 hours. And I'm like,
It's crazy.
what?
Yeah.
Like we used to have, when I started, it was paper apps. It was all paper apps. And same thing. I had to do 800 forms and supplemental forms.
Yeah, the wrong
and,
state. I didn't get this
Yeah.
form signed.
Yeah. You miss a checkbox and I got to go back and get it signed. I
Oh,
was like,
brutal.
this is terrible. But when I first got trained, I had to let clients know that we would let them know whether or not they were approved in like 2 to 3 weeks. And there's agents now that are like frustrated not getting paid in 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, I've never heard 16 or whatever you just said.
Yeah, I mean, I spent most of my career in kind of the advanced planning space. So it was like fully underwritten, full APSs, all in.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And it was just like, people aren't going to give you a $10 million or $5 million or $2 million policy without really vetting you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's changed so dramatically.
So explain the process now for those that are with us. And of course, there's going to be people watching that aren't with us that we can help with this process of getting started with you guys. But explain the process, man, because it is pretty cool. I've never seen nothing.
Yeah. So what we've gone ahead and done, first of all, I want to back up.
Yeah, for sure.
The FFL, I think, and this is why you're north of a $500 million company, right? You look around corners better than other organizations, in my opinion, and that innovation and that forward thinking is what's gotten you from where you started, that Genesis story, to here. And so I think, this partnership and us working with Sean, I think is a great reflection of how you'll rapidly exceed the $1 billion mark. So how does it work? So we went ahead, and once we built this partnership out, we created 45,000 agent portals. So I would imagine that most, if not every agent that's listening to this, that's with FFL, has an active Ethos portal. And so what that means is they can go to our portal, and I'll show you, if I can share my screen, that'd be great. I can just, let me show you a slide that I think will help. Yeah. They can go to, if I can get to it. All right, can you see that?
I can see that it's your screen.
So all they have to
be
do
honest,
is,
I'm old and 8 feet away, so I'm not going to be able to read it.
That's awesome.
But they'll be able to see it. So
yeah, so all they have to do is go to the Ethos dashboard, the agent portal that they see here. They enter in a couple, like their email address. It'll force them to put a login in. There's two things that are going to happen when they.
Because I just see his desktop. Yeah, we just see your desktop, dude. That I can tell. Unless it's hidden in there, we don't see what you see.
Okay, that's no bueno.
I can see your desktop. That's his desktop, not ours, right? Yeah.
What about now?
There we go. Yep. Now there we go. Now we got you.
All right, cool. So sorry about that. He'll have to cut that out. So what
roll
you'll
with
see
it.
here is the agent portal. So if they just follow this, go to this link, and they enter in their email, they'll just get a login, John. If for some reason their portal hasn't been set up, they're not going to be able to do anything. And so they'll just have to reach out to FFL or reach out to us, and we will get their portal set up. But the second they do that, you know, they're going to be selling. So you're going to have a portal set up. You can go into that portal. You can set up your unique URL. And what I mean by a unique URL, John, is the agent can send out a hyperlink to anybody. They can put it on social, they can create a QR code on social media, and we could do much more detailed, like phase 2 for you and I would be, we would actually do I would have the cool Marty do an actual training with your team. So anybody who wants a training, the cool Marty's actually, that's what he does. That's why he's cooler than me. But we'll walk them through what you see here on the screen now is our buy box. So they can send out, once they get their portal set up, which is that multi-million-dollar amazing agent interface, they can go in there and create a unique URL, like I said, or a QR code, and they can put that on social media. Like you're amazing on LinkedIn and social media. You could put a QR code at the bottom of your page, or you could put your URL on your YouTube channels, on your LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. And anytime any consumer clicks that link, they're going to be directed to that. And if they buy a policy, and it takes about, like Paul McLean did an app while we were talking, it took him about 12 minutes. He actually owned $2 million of insurance in about 12 minutes. So while we were rolling out with him, he's like, dude, I just bought a policy. and then he'll get paid that Friday. So you get paid each Friday. So it's that simple. So the beauty of this, if you're an agent, John, is you can 10x your business by being everywhere all the time.
Yeah. Right.
So you create this unique URL, send it out to anybody, you know, leads you didn't sell. Like one of the things I've told people is, if I was an agent at FFL, you know, I buy leads each week. You can, you know, you're not, I mean, I guess somebody could bat 1,000, but let's assume you don't bat 1,000. Anything you don't sell, you could just send out the hyperlink and say, hey, I know it wasn't the right time, or you weren't interested, or we couldn't connect.
Yeah.
I've partnered with Ethos. You can buy up to $2 million. And this is why I wanted to put this piece up here. You can buy up to $2 million if you're reasonably healthy, down to a guaranteed issue final expense policy in about 12 to 15 minutes. And if you're an agent, all of that attributes back to you immediately.
Just
and
from
you
the
get
link,
paid.
it follows. Yeah.
You get paid.
Dude, we could take, so I'm like an automation freak. I like stuff like automated and systems and stuff. If it were me, dude, I would take all the leads and put them in some kind of campaign where and even clients that I did close, you could get their email and send out like referral request emails.
Correct.
You could send out something weekly, quarterly, monthly, annually, whatever, all kinds of stuff. And then every lead that doesn't answer hangs up on you, yells at you.
Yeah.
Heck, I could go in and buy old leads and not even call them and send enough and probably get some sales. Not that I'm recommending you don't call them, but I'm just saying it would work.
I think the fact that it's accretive or additive to your business, like we're not, there are very few things, you know, if I recall my time at a carrier, carriers are typically, we've worked in a business, John, that has been flat for decades, right? So there are very few ways to build kind of net new revenue, right? Every carrier says they're growing 8 to 12% every year, and the industry's flat. So how's that happen? What happens is they're stealing share from each other. So this doesn't steal share. So what your agents are currently doing, they should keep doing. Like you're a creature. Like I'd listen to your videos. You talk about work, like work ethic, habits. Like they need to keep doing all that stuff that you're amazing at training them on. If they layer this on top of that, that's where they can 10x their business. And so
this is like a cherry on top.
It is. And if you look at the scenarios that I put in here, you know, these are, you know, 5 ways that we worked with FFL that really work with the sales motion. By the way, as everybody's looking at these 5, we're working on automating that kind of lead marketing platform program with you to automate that for you. Because you could do that via text, you could do that via email. There's just a million ways that you could take this. But as you can see here, team, there's like 5 really effective ways where you could increase conversion rates, get new sales, add on, layer on I mean, imagine on your annual reviews. I was talking to Andrew T about this, and he's like, I don't know if you watched that interview he and I did, but he's like, I'm going to send out a postcard with the Ethos QR code on it for my annual reviews, and just say, hey, anything happened. And I mean, imagine if he sends out thousands of those and writes 30, 40, 50 policies in a month.
Yeah, what's funny is I'm even thinking on a recruiting standpoint, man. We have like certainly agents. We certainly try to recruit agents who want to do exactly what we do. But there's a lot of I'm connected in the industry doing a lot of industry events, and there's a lot of guys who don't do what we do. They want to sell life insurance, but they don't really want to learn exactly what we do.
Yeah.
We could get them connected and contracted and just be like, why don't you just send your database to this link and trip over extra sales?
I don't
it helps
disagree.
them and helps us.
Yeah.
Right? That would make sense, wouldn't it?
For sure. I think as a recruiting tool, I mean, if you think about the power, I mean, I have 4 girls and they're all like social media savants compared to me. My 24-year-old is an executive of iHeartMedia. And she's like, Dad, this is like explosive. You get an influencer who could get it down, like they could recruit, right?
Yes.
And
then
you
you
start,
gotta know life insurance.
Yeah. I mean, they get licensed if they want. I mean, we have the ability to do referral fees as a side note, but it's incredible. You could partner with realtors, do referral referral fee relationships with realtors, but you could explode your downline in your partners in your recruiting efforts with Ethos, because literally you don't have to, like, what the toughest thing for me as a 25, 26-year-old is kind of, it takes a lot to get your first few years to get comfortable with that conflict of, hey, I'm going to ask about this, right?
Yeah.
And so this softens that experience. And so if you've ever, one of the things Andrew and I talked about as well is if you've ever had somebody who died that you didn't pitch insurance to, that's a life-changing event. And I've had that happen. So this empowers an agent to never have that happen, right? Like, I'm going to send this out to all, I'm going to put this on my Facebook account with all my friends and family. They're going to know what I do. And if they buy it, great, but I'll have met that obligation.
So I can just take that code, put it in I have some of my team is sitting right there. So this is kind of like a to-do list at the same time, but I can take my link, put it on my website, put it on my social, put it on it, and literally just people that trip over my website, just put like, hey, buy life insurance here, and just by mistake make sales.
And it all attributes back to you. Here's the other thing that Andrew called. I'll never forget, like our second week with you guys, Andrew calls, was like, hey man, Ethos is trying to steal my clients. I said, tell me more. Like, what are you talking about? He said, well, somebody sent out the link. A client started the application, and then somebody from Ethos called them and closed the sale. I said, and? He's like, well, did they? I'm like, Andrew, we offer that as a free service to you guys. If a client starts an application, we'll reach out to that client and close that case for you.
No
we
way.
have an
So if they don't finish the online app, you can track it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So somebody starts the app, it's like Phil in Philadelphia gets, 2 pages through the app. His kids start screaming, the dog's barking, UPS shows up. He stops the application. He still wanted to buy, or he wasn't sure. He needed, he had some questions. We're reaching out to them through our lifecycle comms to close that case on behalf of your agents.
Just by default. I don't have to ask you to do that. Y'all just
You don't. Nope. Yep.
What? That's crazy.
It's pretty cool. Andrew's like, holy crap.
Yeah. I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And I don't even know whether they click it or not. Y'all just, the technology tells you guys.
Correct. I mean, the beauty of being a tech company is we measure everything, and our data is pretty amazing. We have 300,000 data points that we're looking at every U.S. consumer instantly.
How long have we been with you guys?
We started mid-August.
How are we doing?
You're killing it.
Where do we rank so far?
You finished September. The final numbers haven't completely closed because one of our product takes about a week to close out, but I would imagine you closed number one.
Number one already
in
second month.
And the funny thing about it is, it was only about 200 agents of the 45,000 that sold policies. So, I mean, if you think about that, and I don't know if everybody was paying attention to that slide, this is important. You have a 30-day window. There's no red cross on everybody's chest, right, John? For the first 30 days, you get $100 bonus on top of your commissions for every policy you sell.
Okay.
Uncapped.
I love it.
It's pretty cool.
Hey, we got to add that to our stuff. It's probably already on your notes to do, isn't it, Allie? We do. I love it. I just added to her to-do list.
Yeah, but to Zach's point, I love this stuff. I mean, what excites me as much as the sales, like we're all in sales, right? But when you're focused on something bigger than yourself, that's generally when amazing things happen. I've learned.
Yeah.
And to me, this is bigger than all of us, right? Like the family that we've protected that had that event, that because of this mechanism is going to be okay in the worst moment of their life, right? Like that's pretty cool, right? And the technology's done a lot of things that aren't great, but this is one that I think is pretty amazing and transformative.
Yeah, it is cool. I've enjoyed the piece, and I like what we do for clients. It's cool. I love the piece of the business where we can help like individual dudes like me and you who are trying to make it in life get to a new level financially. Like that's the piece that that's my tick. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I mean the thing that I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, look, I don't want to slight the university I went to. I had an amazing education. I got it because of sports. But at the end of the day, I had a theology degree from a small liberal arts college, right? My friends were getting jobs at the Board of Trade and all these accounting jobs and these professional gigs. And, I ended up playing for a few years and then I had nothing, right? And so what this empowered me to do was, again in my life, to be judged on my work, right? Because the world usually doesn't allow that if you're just a baseline employee, right? It's like, you just kind of work your job and you're capped and there's a box you're in, right? And what I loved about this business was the scorecard was all on me. And so that's the power of your model, right? If people execute your playbook, which Sean and you and the team have built, their income is, it's limitless. So, and you get all those social benefits of what we're doing. We're not selling, nothing against cell phones, but we're not selling cell phones or water systems or, something else that, or makeup or, anything that's not really creating a social value.
It's not a fad.
Exactly. People are always going to die.
What's funny is, I'm curious here. The funny thing about the industry, how it has like this weird reputation if you're in insurance sales. It's like, now with the internet, I think things are getting cooler or whatever, more social than the internet. But I was sitting at my son's football game last night and they were talking about this guy who was a pretty big name athlete in college. Many people probably heard his name, whatever. And he made some comment. They were down on vacation. A lot of my kids, the kids at the parents and families at my kids' school, they vacation in like the panhandle of Florida and Seaside and Destin and all that stuff. It's a pretty common place for us to go from Atlanta. And there's a bunch of them that were on vacation last week during our fall break, whatever break it's called. And they're telling the story about this guy who used to play at my kid's school and he got kicked out for some reason. He did something stupid. And he was a big time athlete at a very big college football school. And they were telling this story and he made some kind of comment like that he could, I don't know, throw the ball as good as Brady or something. And they were kind of chuckling about him saying that comment, yada, yada, yada. And then one of them goes, and now he's selling insurance. And I just laughed. I was like, y'all have no idea. And then,
look, hey, by the way, Tom Brady's dad has been in the insurance business his whole career and built a powerhouse. I don't know if you knew that or not, being a Boston guy, but
I heard that he got in for like a half a minute, Brady himself, didn't he? Like right out of school. I think I heard the stories.
He may have, but I
think that was the plan if he
that
didn't
was the
play
plan
or something.
Yeah. And look,
Yeah.
The reason so many athletes do well in insurance in general is because of that internal motor, right? It's just, when you're a paid athlete, you can be fired at any moment. right? And
Yeah.
so this gives you, my dad was in, we were, pretty modest family growing up. And I remember telling him that I was going into a sales job in life insurance. He said, well, the thing that's good about it is you got 365 days to keep your job every year. Like, it's all on you, kid. So I love that about this business.
Yeah. And heck, we got some, as you know, we got some athletes in here. What's his name?
Yeah, I met with
Armstrong's
Sean when I
us.
was in Vegas.
Merriman's,
Sean Merriman.
Merriman's with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some influencers, Bradley's up on our umbrella, Andy Elliott. We're starting to get some powerhouses that just see this business for what it is, and they're like, dang, we could partner with the system and process we have,
Correct.
use their influence and following and merge the two with technology like y'all's. It's like a lot of people are seeing the opportunity we're laying out there. I'm 100% sure, as you see, we're changing this industry with what we're doing.
You guys are. I mean, that's
I
the
like
visionary. Yeah, that's the visionary part of it is, and I like the diversity of what you're doing. Like, you're not losing your roots, right? It's like you're just continuing to grow, right? Keep your roots and just keep growing the tree. And I think that accretive kind of element to your business, that's why you'll get to 1 and 2 billion. I mean, like, people, one of the things I wrote down before I went into my discussion with Andrew was, people who you can't win if you play afraid and you continue to accept the old rules, right?
Yeah.
And people will always doubt you and say, hey, that's not going to work, and they're going to do this or they're going to do that. And those people continue to do their little thing, and they stay little, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. They're still helping people. But the real accelerants in the business are people who are adopting what they do incredibly well, adding accretive things like this that really allow that empowerment of 10x, 12x, 20x to their business. And that's the power of this thing.
Yeah, it's been fun being part of and watching what Sean put together, and just always willing to like try new stuff and create new stuff. And it's in the same, but a better way to do it, a more effective way to do it, how to grow and help more people and give more people the opportunity, certainly to be covered, but more people in the industry an opportunity to add to their revenue, and that's what we're doing now. And I'm certain some people watching this are going to go like, and you can keep doing what you're doing. We can add this to your platform. We can, if you want to come be with us full time, great. But it's neat to see the way we're able to provide value to people in so many ways. And we appreciate y'all being part of it. And are you guys coming to Nashville?
I'm coming to Nashville.
You're coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm coming. Yeah. The cool Marty might come too. So we'll see. We'll be, there might be a Tootsie sighting of us.
Okay.
I love that town. It's a great music town.
It's one of my favorites, man. That's why I was like, when we were thinking, and for those that don't know, we're running a sales conference, insurance sales conference next week, the 10th, October 10th. If you want to come register, go to johnwetmore.com. You can register. It's free. We got some cool speakers. Have you seen the lineup?
I have. You got a powerful lineup. It's going to be good.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff. Coach Bert's there. We're working on some stuff, but that Chuck McDowell, have you seen him?
I've not seen him, but I was Googling. I kind of got halfway down that rabbit hole. I left it, but what's his story?
Dude, so you're gonna be there the whole day?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You'll get to see him speak. I got him going last. He's built, so he's a machine. He's a super nice guy, gives away a ton of money in the world and does some really good stuff. But his business, he's the dude that, like, have you ever heard those commercials where they try to get people out of timeshares that they messed up and got into where they didn't know what they were getting into?
Yes.
He's the dude that built get you out of it. I mean, he's got like a 9-figure company doing that or something. And it's crazy. He tells the whole story. Dude, it's insane.
I can't wait.
But he's also got a 9-figure mortgage company that he has in Nashville that they like sponsor at whatever Titan Stadium is. I don't know the name. That might be the name of it, whatever it's called. They sponsor that. I mean, he's big time in the mortgage space. And funny enough, I started talking to him at an event he was speaking at, and I just went up to him, introduced myself because I thought he was amazing. He, in the 90s, I believe, he was in insurance, and he had like 3,000 or 4,000 agents in the final expense space.
Unbelievable.
And just one of the coolest guys. Raw as can be, good old country boy.
Yeah.
He'll have nothing formal up there, and he'll just let it
go
rip
at it.
about business and how he's grown, mistakes. He's great speaker.
What you just described is how the other thing my dad taught me is he's like, try and get a percentage of a really big number.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's
Yeah.
that's the multiple effect. That's where real wealth is created. And you guys have that model. Like you can get a percentage of the whole number, or you can build a partnership with other agents that you help train, develop, grow, to get a percentage of the whole number. So it's or everything they do. So I can't wait to hear them.
Yeah, it'll be a fun day, dude. And we got some cool things happening. Some of the guys you do know with us, of course, are speaking. Sean will be there. We got some cool stuff planned. The MC, have you said that Joey Yak?
Yeah, I did look at, yes. That'll be
just
fun,
like
man.
him. His energy. I'm like, I don't do that from stage. So I hired him to come because I'm like, I love his energy.
Well, the beauty of what you're doing, to your point about the industry, is this, I've been to hundreds of insurance industry events. This will be the antithesis of that, right? This is okay. This is awesome. This is fun. You can build a business. This is entrepreneurial. Like that is what our industry has lacked for 2 decades. So
I hate our industry events. So I'm like, can I mix it up? Am I allowed to? I'm going to do it and see what happens. So
well, you guys are winning there.
We've done a couple. It's been fun. So we try to make it and educating, but entertaining. And
of course,
you know what I mean? So yeah, so we look forward to seeing you, dude.
I can't wait.
Marty Schaefer.
Yeah.
Appreciate you getting on and your time. Anything you want to add, dude? Whatever you want to end with.
No, I was just
or anything you want to cover. I'd be happy.
Yeah, maybe if the team can just put the at the end, I know he has that slide. Just put that slide back up, or I can put it back up. But the agents just have to go to the portal. That they're likely already live with Ethos.
Okay.
And they can just start selling. They've got 30 days to accelerate that $100 bonus. We're ready to roll. I mean, we have accelerated. We know October is a really big month for FFL. We expect to be a meaningful contributor to it. So that's why I wanted to connect with you so quickly to get this out to your kind of folks and share the message. But lastly, I would just thank you for your innovation, and how you're looking at the business, John, and everything you've done to propel our industry. And everything you're going to do to help propel our partnership forward. I just want to thank you for that, man. And I'm excited to see you in Nashville.
I appreciate it. We're definitely looking forward to it. We'll put that slide up. And if you're not with us and want to be, I'm not hard to find. And if you're with us and don't have your portal, don't message me. Message your manager.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know how to help. But get with we'll get everybody taken care of, get everybody set up. And, I think this is awesome. So we'll push it out, and then let's offline after this, or we can do it in Nashville. Let's connect in Nashville. I want to get on the schedule so we can get together, get you out here and get you.
Absolutely. I can't wait. So, awesome, brother.
All right, brother. I appreciate your time.
All right. Be well.
Dude.
Cheers.
See you, man. Later.